Hello. Trying something different on this camera. I got it on selfie mode. Oh, will that work? I don't know. And now you're just looking at me. Do you get to see anything like that? No? I don't know. See this ugly old bastard? Hi. I got all the vacuums stripped. Yeah, what is it? 11 o'clock Sunday morning. I come out here a couple hours ago. The wife has company. She has a girlfriend over for coffee, so have to be polite and visit, right? And yeah, busy, busy, busy. Had a couple of you ask what that thing was on my glasses. It's the little holder that they come with when you buy them, hangs them on the rack. I left it on there, so I can hang it on the rack. And I know where they are all the time. I know it looks goofy to see that stupid thing hanging on my glasses, but it doesn't get in the way. And it works. You fold the glass up, hang them up. I have a habit, if I set them down somewhere, I'll either drop them on the floor, kick them over, step on them, crunch them. Then I have nothing. So, I don't want to do that. Just going to clean up a little bit. It is a little freezing rain out there, not as bad as they predicted, but hey, any ice is not good, right? So all the vacuums, of course, keeping them in the garage, made them thaw out. Sorry if I keep leaving the picture, but I need to go through some of this stuff to make sure that pail's overflowing. This one is just sink brass. I don't have to keep it separate, but I do. My yard will take it as clean brass, which is good by me, but I need to make sure that, I don't know, is that fan overpowering? Let me turn it down. Now you can hear the wind blowing outside. You see I got a little piece of plastic in here that doesn't belong in there. I'll go through these before I bring them in to make sure they are what they are. Like I don't like to hide anything, but it's pretty much brass, I think. And I'll make sure. I don't want to bring stuff in and they go, hey, that's not right, that. And then they think I'm trying to cheat them or something. Looks like brass to me, right? I don't know about this end piece. I cannot scratch them. That piece definite. And that piece is definite. Can you see that? Let me see. Little scratchy scratch. Whatever you do, anybody gets these things, they're the old radio antennas, they are brass. You can tell when you cut them on the bottom, or you can give them a scratch. See? Nice and brassy. So when you come across the old radios, you have an antenna, TVs, whatever, make sure you get the, take the antenna off anyways if you're not going to do anything with the radio. Just snap it off, pull it all the way out, snap it off. It's a nice piece of brass. It adds up. And I have to find a new pail for this guy. He's a little bit overwhelming himself, you know. It's a little bit full. This guy's almost full again. He's the big bucket. He's the heavier brass. This is the lighter brass. This is the brass that you get everything out of. You know, brushes, vacuum cleaners for the recoil. Everybody knows what those are. Magnetrons. It's a little bit of brass. This is probably copper. It doesn't matter. I will go through it all. Some of them are a little coppery. If it goes in as brass, brass is made from copper, correct? So it's not a big deal, right? Power bars, you know, where you can put multiple plugs in. Just give them a good whack. They have a lot of brass in them. You can plug 3 or 4 or 6 or 8 plugs in at one time, right? The power bar, what I'm talking about. Power strip, power bar, whatever you guys want to call them. They got nice brass in them too. You can get the smaller versions of them. Yeah, my desk ain't the best, is it? There, see? I put this stainless steel on myself. It used to be a backsplash for a sink in a restaurant. When we were on the farm, we had zero heat in the basement. So if it warmed up and then cooled off, I used to have steel on here. That would get rusty. Steel's not good to have in a high humidity, because we would use the here, I'll put you back over here. We would use the dryer with an indoor vent attached to it, put the hose out. The laundry room would be in one end. The house was kind of shaped like a T, so the laundry room was here and we had a doorway, and it was the bigger part where you came down the stairs. We would in the late fall, early winter, take the pipe off for discharging outside. It was an electric dryer, not gas, so don't get excited. And I had a special hose I bought, flex hose. It would go out through that, and then it would go into a bucket that you had water in it, and it would collect the lint, whatever lint went out of it, right? But because of that water bucket, it would produce extra humidity in the air. But being in the basement, well, we didn't really care much, because that was my only source of heat in the basement. We had a wood stove on the main floor. Well, everybody knows heat doesn't fall down through the ground. I could have thought about it, a booster fan and a vent, floor vent. We had big floor vents in the dining room and the living room on that T part of the house. And that would let the cold air drop into the basement from all the floors. Like the vents were, you could tell the house was almost 200 years old. So it had the old wooden vents. They were like 1 inch square, about like that big. But it was 18 by about a foot. And 18 inches by about 12 inches. So, and that was the cold air. So if I put a fan, laid it on top, and turned it on, it might have sucked some heat down, but the cold air in the basement really had nowhere to go. If you're going to add, you got to be able to subtract too, right? Like in here, it doesn't matter. This garage is so drafty. As I'm adding heat, the cold air is coming in through the cracks, all the cracks, and the window cracks, the door cracks, you name it. Like I can look up right now and the sun's shining, like it's a typical tin roof with a ridge cap, so it's designed not to be sealed because that's how it vents out. But you can see all along the edge too, you can see daylight. So I'm always getting fresh air, never have to worry about carbon monoxide in here. I don't run any engines in here. The only time an engine might get fired up in here is when I'm firing up one of the lawnmowers and then driving them out. But then of course the big door's open and nobody's staying in here. Other than that, those gas engines are not running with the doors shut or anything like that, so there's no carbon monoxide in. The chimney is well vented from the wood stove. Everything goes out. Fresh air drafting coming through every single every single window in here. So yeah, there's always fresh air being pumped in here. But like I said, if you add, you got to subtract. So with on the farm there, even if I blew hot air down from the upstairs, every floor had 9-foot high ceilings. So you can picture how tall the house was. The hot air would go through that vent and just kind of hover around, well, if you're in the basement, in the rafters, so, in the ceiling. So it wouldn't do a whole lot unless you actually ran a pipe straight down to the floor, and then on the other side of the building had another pipe coming off the floor going up the wall and then out the door, with it running discharging the cold air outside. The same way your furnace works. Your furnace has to have a cold air return to give you hot air. If you don't have a cold air return, it can't give you hot air because it's got nowhere to get the air from unless it's getting it from outside. So we use the dryer. Otherwise I worked in my shed outside. I didn't have a garage on the farm. Well, I had an old rickety one, barely fit a car in. It was worse shape than this. We took it down just to make space. But I always had the truck body shed. Had that one for a long time. And well, I wasn't heavy into micro scrapping back then yet either. That's 7, 8, 9 years ago. So I don't know, one thing led to another. I don't even know why I got into it. Scrapping was it. You grabbed shit and you got rid of it. You grabbed stuff and you got rid of it. Boom, boom, boom. Well, I blame it on YouTube. I don't know who I watched first, if it was Moose Scrapper or if it was a young lady down in Florida, Scrapperella. She's not a scrapper anymore. She just sells stuff on eBay all the time. I don't even know if she still has her channel at all. But I don't know if anyone ever heard of her. Her and her husband, well, now ex-husband, they've separated. But yeah, she quit doing. But she made it look fun and very dangerous and scary because of the way she would do stuff. Sometimes you just want to be there and give her a smack and say, "Do it this way, not that way." Arr! But everybody does their own thing, right? But it was because of her and because of Moose. I think that's what led me farther down that rabbit hole of micro scrapping, ripping stuff apart, doing this, doing that. Like, where does it end? Like, I got all the vacuum cleaners stripped now, except the one, but I think it just needs a belt. The thing works awesome. It doesn't even stink when it runs, so I don't even think they used it much. So I'm going to look into getting a belt for it. Other than that, if I can't, then I might have to strip it, but it isn't an old machine. It's let's see if you can see that. It is this guy right here. He's a big heavy machine. HEPA filters and all that good stuff, right? Supposed to be clean. It's a Bissell. It's a big heavy duty machine, but the power head doesn't run, so I'm thinking it's just the belt. So I'll look into it further before I strip it down. Like just this thing here alone. That's the canister. It looks, at first I thought it was a Dyson. Just the way, yeah, I gotta put you down. Plus the crack on my floor didn't help much either. It rolled off the back. Like I thought it was a Dyson. Everything's still on it. All the attachments are there. So it just kind of sits over here taking up space. So the final frontier. So anyways, that was the idea or the hint of this. Everybody was kind of wondering. Canadian treasure hunter gave me a hint on how to attack that motor. He said pull the core out of it, like open the two sides, pull the core out of it, hit it with a sledgehammer, smack the shell, then drag the rest of it in the garage. It'll be, of course, that much lighter, right? Because it is all cast steel. Cast steel will go in the cast steel bucket. I have another tub back over there beside my rotor cast, auto cast, whatever you want to call it, brakes and hub, drums and rotors. So that's what I'm doing, or was. It's done. I got 4 garbage cans full of plastic. See? And these 2 are sitting beside it. Blue box guy won't take them because it's not soft plastic, it's brittle plastic. So I throw whatever I can in the blue box. And there's the motors. So I might go back in the house, visit yet. She's here for a little while. It still hasn't made up its mind what it wants to do. Rain, not rain. Give you an idea what it looks like outside. It doesn't look that nasty, but the road is slippery. The road is frozen. Yeah, I put stuff under here, but you don't think about the wind. That's all ice down there. You can see the ice. That's all shred, that stuff. It's got higher content of steel than plastic, so that's why it's out there and not in here in the garbage bin, because it will go in with the shred. Yeah, this is new for me. I don't like this selfie mode. What can you do? So that's it. I got nothing else to say. Keeps the bugs out. Fits on your Pepsi can perfectly. Works great. I have one in every vehicle because I am full-time. I am a truck driver, and in the summertime you leave the windows open when you're getting loaded. Like I drive a flatbed. You seen it. You saw me bring the motor home. The motor home, not a motor home. But anyways, I learned real quick. I jumped back in the truck, grabbed my pop, not thinking nothing of it. Well, a yellow jacket had gone inside of it. Yeah, that did not feel very well. So these things come off of, I don't think I have any in here. I keep that, you know, that expanding foam you get in a can to fill in cracks and joints and everything. That's the lid. So the lid was never used because you pull the lid off and you use the whole can. So the lid does not get used. So it's not like I'm using a dirty lid. Perfect for keeping everything out. Spiders, bugs, hornets, you name it. No question when you grab your pop, oh, is there something in here? You gotta listen, you know. Oh. And if you do hear something buzzing, then you throw your drink away, right? But yeah, I learned quick on that one. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, right? Isn't that how it goes? Something like that. So pocket's getting fuller. All the vacuum cleaners, I never had the cords cut off. They're all here. They're all that insulated cord. You can't strip that stuff. Well, you can try, but I know the old timers used to throw them in a burn barrel and just burn the crap out of them. But you still end up with that insulation because that insulation doesn't cook. So it'll go as insulated wire. 2 garbage cans full. These pails here are the ones I'm going to strip. They got like appliance cords. They strip pretty easy. The heavy ones, right, like the ones that are in the washer or dryer, like electric. These guys won't be in a washing machine, but you know what I mean, a dryer or a stove. It's 3 wire. One of them is already stripped when you peel it open. Just the ground. But yeah, they do strip pretty easy, and there is enough copper in them to make it worthwhile, right? So that's why those 2 little pails are hanging around behind the side. They're all stuff that can be stripped. These 2 pails right here, they're on top of each other. This pill here behind, in case you're wondering, that's got my bird feed in it. This one's got my peanuts in it. Peanuts in the shell. It's for the pets outside. We have every kind of bird you can think of. We have possums, we have coons, we got squirrels. And it's funny, a squirrel will go bury a nut. If a blue jay's watching, he'll dig it up. If a crow's watching, he'll dig it up. It's hilarious to watch that. So the animals have to be careful in what they do. "64 degrees in here. Of course, the wind's coming from that direction. That is not a very sealed door. And every time I open it to throw something out, you get a big blast of cool air. So the wind has calmed down a wee bit. That's my new light. I think it highlights pretty good. What do you think? It's supposed to be equivalent to a 300 watt light bulb. I like it. Just have a little push button up on the here. I took it off a lamp. It was actually a button on the floor. You know, you just step on it with your foot. Hands-free switch. So that works. I like it. I had to do something different to hang it. That's not actually made for it, but it works. I had it hanging off the rafter this way, but when I opened the garage door, it would have knocked it right off. So, and I didn't need it stuck in the rafters because the LEDs there's LEDs on the bottom of it too, so they shine down as they shine sideways, and that's how it lights up the room pretty good. Little heater here we found that works. Somebody's been running it on full blast. Number 3 settings, it's got 3 different settings, so it'll be 750, 1500, or 500, 750, 1500, something like that. And high. Doesn't have a very long cord, but I think they heated it up a little bit. So I'll put a different plug on it. It works fine. It's, I don't know the name of that one. What are you? Oh, you're a sea breeze. Huh. But anyways, it works. I'll put a better plug on it so it's safer. And it should never be run on high, right? Not for any length of time that you actually cook the plug. But it instantly heated, so there's always somebody who says they're cold, right? Put a proper 3-prong plug on it. That'll work too. So I'm gonna maybe see you curbside. Still up in the air yet. We'll decide after lunch if we're gonna go or not. I have to do it in the evening because I work all day long, so then it's in the darkness. It's hard to videotape. I can't chase them first thing in the morning because I go to work first thing in the morning with my job instead of my scrapping job. So today is the only day actually we can if we go. I haven't seen any salt trucks go out yet, so, and I haven't taken a walk to the road yet. I might do that and see what it looks like. We'll determine. Truck vehicles are covered in ice, so my boy went to work. He hasn't said if it was bad or shitty. So, but other than that, have a nice day. Enjoy your Sunday. Like, subscribe, and share. Or not. Have a nice day.